Hello, welcome back, my favorite movement enthusiasts, to today's session of advanced mobility breakdowns, where we're gonna take some of my favorite advanced mobility routines and break them down, deconstruct them step by step for all beginners to join in and for more advanced mobility practitioners to break it down by themselves, take whatever they enjoy in their training and leave out whatever they deem unnecessary. So if you're ready, let's go and have some fun. Now, just to get into this whole thing, I want to start you out with something very simple yet highly effective, which is going to take care of pretty much all the problem zones that most people suffer from, which are the ankles, the knees, the hips, and the lower back. Going through smooth movements, adding rotation, stretches, activations, and all kinds of stuff. As for the breakdown, we're gonna start in a seated position, ankle flexion on one side, ankle extension on the other side, lengthening our quads already in a seated position, very beneficial. Our first move is learning how to push forward, get into as much ankle flexion as we can on one side and as much knee flexion as we can before we sit back down. Pushing forward, activating our posterior chain and flexing as much as we can, lengthening our hip flexors as well, and sitting back down. Movement number two, instead of just sitting back down, we're gonna add this forward fold, lengthening our spinal erectors as well. Push forward, sit back, and lengthen. Push forward and sit back. Once you've gone through this, the hardest part will be the rotation. We push forward, and instead of sitting back down, we're gonna go through double internal hip rotations, just like so. Get into this ankle extension, sit down, and now fold forward on the other side. For the beginning, start by moving very slowly, go through these movements in a controlled fashion. You can even work with your hands on the sides and fold forward. And once you are a little bit more confident in the movement, then you can start speeding it up and holding some of the positions where you feel the most stretch for a little bit longer. Get into a deep squat starting position, internal hip rotation combined with external hip rotation, upward 90-90 seated position, and then we're gonna add some complete spinal rotation for maximum efficiency in this exercise before we reverse and repeat to the other direction using controlled and flowing movements. Quick breakdown, starting in a deep squat position, internal hip rotation separately. Try and keep your hands behind your back and your upper body fully upright to engage as much core inclusion and as much hip flexor strength as possible, and just go through those internal hip rotations with one foot always flat on the ground. Second movement, external rotations, like so, to add a little bit more posterior chain activation, strengthening the backside of our musculature while stretching the front side. And we're gonna combine double internal rotations, left and right, as well as controlled, slow, double external rotations into those pseudo hip thrusts before we reverse using our own strength, controlled movement, and repeat. Once you have that, you can already get into this 90-90 seated position. Start by only turning a little bit while your upper body is fully upright to lengthen your hip flexors and activate your glutes and spinal erectors a little bit more. And for our final step, starting in a 90-90 seated position, we're gonna bring our hands sideways and we're gonna try to go as close down to the ground as possible. Start with your arms first, like so, and then move your face down. You're gonna add even more stretch in your quads, in your hip flexors, a lot of rotation in your entire spine, all the way up to your head, and we wanna controlled reverse, roll over our toes, get into this deep squat position, internal hip rotation, external hip rotation, face to the floor, and of course, the quick ones, hop, 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 with the very slow ones. So we can work a little bit on this slow twitch and fast twitch alternation. Alternation. Now we're gonna notice the jump in difficulty with this movement pattern is going to be pretty high, but I am also pretty sure you're gonna be able to follow along if we break this down step by step. Our first base movement is the Cossack squat with a full range of motion, meaning you wanna sit down all the way, but instead of having our foot flat, you wanna actually raise that heel to give us a little bit more space to move backward. Step number two extended leg, extended arm right behind our knee. All we need to do from here is push our hip up, lengthening our anterior chain all the way on the left, all the way to our fingertips before we move back forward. Switch, Cossack to the other side, hand behind the extended leg, and once again lengthen the right side. And only once we've gone very comfortable with those two movements will we move on to what I call threading the needle. Get into the lowest Cossack squat, push up as far as you can, and now we're gonna switch hands and bring that left leg through to the right side. And if you want to add a posterior chain stretch as well, you're going to grab those toes and pull in. And if you want to add a little bit more strength in your upper body, you're going to go very low to the ground, adding more strength in your arms and chest. Reverse the exact same way you went through the movement, and repeat on the other side. Cossack, pseudo bridge, switch, hands, thread the needle, add posterior chain stretch, go low to the ground, and reverse in a controlled manner. Now, the more you slow this one down, the harder it will be, especially this part is going to require a lot of strength, a lot of control, and a lot of endurance to go through this more than just a handful of times. But once you get very comfortable with this one, you're gonna notice it is practically a full body mobility, strength, and endurance workout in a single movement pattern. Now, before I show you something very amazing, we're gonna go through another movement pattern, and this one is not gonna be that much different from the other one, except that it's gonna require a lot more strength and a lot more flexibility if you wanna go through the entire thing. Up. As you can see, our base movement hasn't changed. We're gonna go into a deep Cossack squat, and we're gonna do the same pseudo bridge as we did before, lengthening our anterior chain, working on that posterior chain activation, and especially those hip flexors and quad insertions, so we get that nice little stretch. And at this point, you should already be a master of this slow movement pattern. And at this point, we're gonna take the last part, which is, instead of what we did before, threading the needle, we're gonna bring our knees together behind each other, just like we would with a dragon squat, and then we're gonna extend sideways and pull those toes in, get this amazing posterior chain stretch. I wanna go as low to the ground as possible for maximum strength inclusion before we reverse and repeat on the other side by bringing our knees down together and grabbing our toes low to the ground, up and repeat. If you have broken down those movement patterns separately, you're gonna notice it's not that hard to switch from one of the patterns to the next one without having to stop, take a break, or do static switches. While you're here, you can already switch into a deep squat position, start going through internal and external rotation, 99, face down, all the way up. For instance, it doesn't really matter which move you want to add to which starting position. At some point, you will be able to do whatever you want and however you feel like moving. And that is exactly what we were working on here today. Learning as many exercises separately, learning how to put them together into one single movement pattern that we can work on for a longer period of time, and then how to deconstruct them by themselves and put them together as if we were doing a puzzle. This is the absolute maximum, most important goal when it comes to working on your mobility. And the better you get at that, the stronger, the faster, and the more enduring you will be, because not only are we working on our mind-muscle connection, which has a lot to do with strength, endurance, and how well we are at activating our musculature at specific moments, but also the amount of complexity that you can add to a workout will make the workout much more efficient. The simpler the exercise, the less benefits you can have from it. The more complex the exercise, the more benefits you can reap from it. But with that said, once again, sadly, that's all the time I have left for you today. However, guys, if you like the video and subscribe, and please, guys, check out other videos on this channel, because we literally have new ones every single day, which means that I will see you guys tomorrow. Captain Cairo, peace out.